To continue the important discussion on the subject of a difficult shared history and the future of Polish-German relations amid new modern-day security challenges posed by Russia, it is my pleasure to welcome back on the show Rolf Nikel, former German ambassador to Poland. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining me on the program tonight.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. As we look at the Polish-German relations, can history be reversed and Poland and Germany can work hand in hand to counter the risk posed by Russia? Or perhaps the wounds from the past are still too deep to have both nations change course? What's your opinion?
No, I think it's absolutely possible, and more than that, it's necessary. I remember when I was ambassador in Poland from 2014 to 2020, we were far ahead already on that road to reconciliation. Of course, we have to remember what happened. We have to be aware of the atrocities committed by Germany at the time. No question about this. But today, in this world in which we live, in this world in turmoil, where Russia is aggressing a neighboring country, it's absolutely necessary that we stick together. And one of the fundamentals of this sticking together is a reconciliation. And to be quite frank, we were more far ahead a couple of years ago than we are now, which is kind of astonishing. But that's the situation.
I would like to follow up with what you just said, because we do have the latest report, Polish-German Barometer 2025 by the Deutsches Polen Institute, according to which we read 32% of Poles feel sympathy towards Germans. 1 in 4 respondents expresses dislike. This, as we read, is a dramatic decline in sentiment. By comparison, 42% of Germans express sympathy towards Poles. The percentage of those expressing antipathy has dropped significantly to 9%, the lowest level since the survey began 25 years ago. What do you think? What would be your solution to bridge the existing gap?
Well, it's a very complicated issue. I agree. The Polish-German barometer, which was just published, is, in my view, very, very worrisome, because it really shows that we are at a very low point in this polls, and something has to be done about this. And this is, I mean, we have different levels of relationship. We have the relationship on the grassroots level. We have the relationship between the countries. We have the relationship between the governments. And it's really, really very important that on the government level, we keep up business-like and also bilateral relationship that satisfies the needs of both sides. And I think that is possible, and it should be developed. Problem, unfortunately, is that we had, for quite a long time, we had a government in Poland which did not really further reconciliation. I remember when I was ambassador, the figures were much higher. And after the government of the peace, the figures declined. So there must be a reason for that.
So we've seen that the change has happened since that time in Poland, and I would like to bring a quote from Germany that came straight from Germany. "I do not currently see any danger to Germany from Russia," said German politician Tino Czurpala on ZDF's talk show, while arguing that, quote, "Poland can also be a danger." Czurpala, to give our viewers a word of explanation, is the co-chair of the far-right populist Alternative for Germany, which currently leads German polls with about 26% support ahead of the ruling CDU-CSU. According to what I've just read, what signal does the emergence of the far-right extremist parties such as the AfD in Germany give to countries such as Poland based on our history, especially in light of Germany planning on growing its Bundeswehr?
It's a disastrous statement. There's no question about this. But one should not overestimate the significance of AfD. They have grown in popularity. That's true, because of a couple of decisions that have been made by Germany and which have sort of fueled their popularity. but they have no influence on the political system right now. They are not members of the government. They try to tell people all kinds of things, and I would not overestimate what they say. It's in any case an absolutely non-acceptable statement, which I totally condemn.
They might be not a risk now, but considering the growing sympathy to the AfD, is there, in your opinion, anything to be truly worried about?
Well, I mean, this is unfortunately a phenomenon which we have in other countries of Europe as well. Look at other countries where the extreme right is even more important in the polls than it is in Germany. I don't want to deny that it's worrisome that they are where they are, but we should not over exaggerating. We should not exaggerate that meaning. We, all the Democrats in Germany and abroad, should work together to kind of limit the influence of these right wing parties. But look at France, look at the Czech Republic, look at Hungary, and look at a number of other countries, and you see it's not an isolated phenomenon in Germany.
Considering more recent German past and somewhat pro-Russian sympathies before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, do you think that Germany has finally reached a point and is fully conscious of breaking away completely from that working relationship with Russia?
I think we have made enormous progress on that road. And I have written in my book, I was very critical of the situation before, but now so-called Zeitenwende is real. It may have been slow, and it may have been not completely complete, but it's going into the right direction. And I think we're now more united than we were ever before on the threat that is constituted by Russia. And we work together, and we should continue to work together. And for that, we need to be as united as possible. And everything that disunites us only serves the Russians, only serves the aggressor. So let's keep together, let's continue on that. And I hope that during the government consultations, which will take place in Berlin on December 1st, we will continue to walk on that path.
I would also like to touch upon the subject of the very controversial and quite frankly atrocious auction that almost took place in Germany. We've heard from Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski, who on his X platform wrote on Sunday, quote, "The memory of Holocaust victims is not a commodity and cannot be subject to commercial trade." In your opinion, do auction houses have the right to sell memorabilia belonging to the victims of the Nazi and Soviet regimes? I mean, is 80 years enough to desensitize, enough to make a dime for somebody's tragedy?
No, of course not. I think the Polish foreign minister is completely right. He had a phone call with the German foreign ministers. They both agreed that this auction is shameless and unacceptable, and it had to be cancelled, and it was cancelled. And I think that was absolutely the right decision. Memorabilia of that sort are not up, should not be up for sale for this. They should be in museums. They should belong to the families of the victims, and not being sold for whatever price on auctions. That's unacceptable.
Do you think that there's going to be legislation following up, international legislation, at least in Europe, to make sure that such cases never take place again?
Well, we'll see. I think what has to take place now first is that there is an investigation ongoing to whom these memorabilia, these items belong. Apparently, when you talk about letters, you have addresses, you have names, and so you have indications as to whom it belongs, whom they belong. So that is the first thing that should be done, and then we'll have to see whether some sort of international, I don't know whether legislation is the right word, but some sort of regulation that forbids this. But also, I mean, it's a question of human judgment. I mean, how can somebody, taking into account the suffering of those people, try to make money out of it? I mean, in my view, that is weird. I can't say otherwise.
Definitely a question of human judgment. Very briefly, because our time on the show, unfortunately, is coming to an end. Today marks exactly 60 years since the Polish bishops sent a letter of reconciliation to their German counterparts. What makes you hopeful about the Polish-German relations?
First of all, I think this 60 years were really, or this bishop letter was really an important event. And what makes me today content, satisfied, is that we have, on the level of the grassroots level, I meet so many people from Germany who have close contacts now with their Polish counterparts. There are lots of people, of Poles, working in Germany, and the other way around. There's a lot of economic exchange ongoing, and so there is a lot of hope for this relationship to develop further in the future. But I think we need those kinds of events like the one that happened 60 years ago, and we need to commemorate them to make people aware of what happened, and make them aware of the grandiose ideas behind the Polish bishop's letter. I think 20 years after World War II, that was really amazing and really should be a guiding post for us living today.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Rolf Nikel, former German ambassador to Poland, was my guest on World News Tonight. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for having me. All the best. Bye-bye.
Pleasure. And so this would be all for now. Thank you for joining me. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska, and I hope to see you back here on TVP World in just a moment for more news and features. Good night.